Johnny Heitinga is going to be in the dugout for this one. Now, Wolves they've improved since Vitor Pereira took over. Obviously, Gary O'Neill was sacked on the 15th of December. The 15th of December, Wolves had played 16 league matches. They'd won 2 and drawn 3, which is not good. They were 19th in the league. They have climbed. Guy is saying Arna might not be banned for Wolves because they haven't confirmed a ban yet. I'm sure it'll come tomorrow. It always does. Anyway,
they did put out a statement saying a 2-game ban and then deleted it very quickly afterwards. So I don't know if that's to do with a potential appeal or anything like that.
Well, I have to imagine he'll appeal it. I have to imagine. I can't imagine he's the type that would have said anything that would be worthy of a red card, a straight red card. Like, this is the thing. It's a straight red. It's not like he was booked for saying something during the game. This is a straight red card. There's a high threshold to hit for that. So I'd imagine we're going to appeal it and the Sipka one. He's meant to be a bit more, a bit less kind with his words by all accounts.
A bit more Kloppy.
Yes, a bit more Kloppy. Can you imagine what Klopp would have done last night?
Yes. I imagine he would have gone home with the 4th official's head under his arm.
Yeah. And Michael Oliver's the waistband of his underwear having given him a wedgie or something. Wolves have climbed their way to 17th. Now, the primary reason they've done this, Carl, is because Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton have just been garbage. But under Vitor Pereira, they have won 3 and drawn 1. In his first game, they went to Leicester and won 3-0. Congrats to them. It's a good result. Then they beat Manchester United 2-0 at home. Bruno Fernandes sent off in that one, and that's kind of what turned the game in Wolves' favour. They went to Spurs, and they got themselves a draw, a late Strand Larsen goal. Then they got pumped by Forest. They got pumped by Newcastle. Chelsea beat them comfortably. Arsenal went there and beat them with 10 men. But they beat Villa last time out. And they fully deserved to beat Villa. They completely outplayed Villa on the day. And the 2-0, even though Cunha scored in the 97th minute, the 2-0 was a fair reflection of the gulf between the sides on the day. But they're not a good team. Like, we have to be honest about this. There's no point in building them up as something they're not. They're not a good team. Their away form this season, they have won 2, but they've lost 3 and drawn 3 and lost 7. So it's 2 wins from 12 away from home for Wolves this season. There is absolutely no excuse for us not beating them this weekend. Injury-wise, they have no Mosquera, no Enzo Gonzalez, no Sasa Kalajic, potentially no Jurgen Strand Larsen. Now, he's working his way back, but they don't think he's going to be ready. Boubacar Traore is working back. We'll see. And Hwang is out. So they're going to be light in attack, and that favors us. The only player we're going to have out is Joe Gomez, who's likely not back for another couple of weeks. Joe is the backup. We're going to be at full strength. They're going to be missing multiple starters. There's no real excuse here.
Can't believe you've overlooked Tyler Morton's fitness issues.
Oh, I did forget Tyler Morton. To be fair, I did. And I like Tyler. I think he's a solid player. He's going to have a good career. It just won't be with us. But yeah, Tyler Morton also unavailable.
I think Wolves are better set up now than they were. Not saying this because of results. I just mean from a personnel perspective, right? So before they were sometimes back 3, sometimes back 4, quite often like asking people like Ryan Nuri to play a much more defensive-sided game than, let's say, works to their strengths. I think now they seem to be set up so that pretty much everybody is playing in a position which is about their strongest position. Maybe the one exception I might say to that is playing Matt Doherty as a right-sided centre-back. That's a new one. But fair enough, it gets him in the team at the very least, which wasn't really the case before. Um, I think Agbadu, is it Emmanuel Agbadu? I've only seen him play twice so far. So I saw the Villa and the Arsenal matches. I think he looked decent, like strong, good reading of the game, that kind of thing. So a bit more solidity in their defense from that perspective. But the midfield, the center of the midfield, let's say, is very much still, let's be as mad and relentless as we can, which sometimes is really, really good. Like if you want proper scrappers in there and really, really robust performers, then a pairing of like Andre and Gomez, for example, can be pretty good. Bellegarde, I think, does that role kind of well as well, but he's a really good ball carrier to add into that. It is still, I think, for them in terms of staying up, just about getting the front three right. If you got Nouri and Semedo both able to get on, you're going to get service into the forward areas, and therefore you're relying on the front three to be gelling and taking chances. Now, if you got Cunha, that's a really good start. I think Strand Larsen's been really good for them this year. And then the third one is still a real toss-up, but at the minute it's Gonzalo Guedes looks to be back in favour at the minute. Sarabia has started a few games recently, so whoever they pick out of them, they've got Huang as well still. So they've got options there. And I think that more than anything else means they are the ones who stay up out of that bottom four. I don't think that this Wolves team are as bad as sorry, I don't think that they should be 17th. I don't think they should have 19 points. They should be way better off than this
Agreed.
with the squad that they've got. But even so, there are enough holes in the team in midfield and certainly in the central defensive arrangement, and with the fact Jose Sarr is in goal, that we should be creating chances for probably 3 or 4 if we're playing well.
Yeah, I agree.
Not
And like,
score 3 or 4, but to create the chances for that.
agreed. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's not, you're not going to take every chance that you create, but we should create plenty of chances against them. I really admire the fact that they've gone out in this January window and they've been aggressive. They've brought in Agbadu, they brought in Nazir Giga, who I think is going to be a good player for them, and then they brought in Manetzi, the defensive midfielder, and they spent pretty big money, for them. They spent about, I think, 45 million on these 3 players. So if you're Gary O'Neill, you're probably fuming, considering you got so little backing in the summer window. And, because your Wolves, you sold 2 of your starters and didn't reinvest all of that money. But I do admire the fact that they've gone out and they've spent money to try and stay in the division. I think there's oftentimes we see clubs not have that ambition. They just accept that we might go down here and they'll just roll the dice. Whereas what Wolves have done is they've put the money on the table and they've brought in Agbadu, who I think is 27, and Manetzi, who's 28. They've brought in, players for the immediate. These are not long-term pieces. These are players that are going to help them now in the next 6 months in particular, but in the next, 2.5, 3 years. Giga's younger, he's 22. And he's the one I think that will have real resale value. The other 2 won't. But it speaks to a mindset of building a team based on a defensive core under this manager, to spend all that money on, 2 centre-backs, defensive midfielder. We know the wing-backs are pretty good. I think Nouri is outstanding. Semedo's, he's fine. This will shore up the centre-back positions because, like, they've got Santiago Bueno back. They'll get Mosquera back next season. They'll be in a better position. And then they add Manetzi into the midfield with João Gomes and with Andre and with Boubacar Traore when he's fit, and with Tommy Doyle. And all of a sudden, that's a good group. It was a good group before when they were all fit and they had Mario Lemina playing well and whatever's gone on with him. But they've basically just replaced him with Manetzi. So, they've got a strong defensive core. That's something to build off. Goalkeeper is an issue. Jose Sarr had a good first year in the Premier League. Then people realized he wasn't very good, and he hasn't been very good since. They spent, I think, 10 million in the summer to bring in Sam Johnston from Crystal Palace. He started in the team, then he got hurt, and then Sarr came back in and kept the role. And in attack, like, I think Strand Larsen's been good for them this season. He's still a little bit inconsistent, but there's absolutely a player there. Cunha is outstanding. That third role is the problem role, and like you said, it's been a couple of different players, and right now it's Gonçalo Guedes, and he's playing well. And like the thing with Guedes is we know he's a good player. We've seen him be a good player. He's just always been an inconsistent player. But the thing with inconsistent players is they do hit hot streaks of form. Now, he's not on a hot streak at the moment, but he's putting in consistent 6 and 7s each week. And if they get a run of like 3 or 4, 8 out of 10 games from him, that's a big boost for them. So you're right. They shouldn't be 17th. They shouldn't have 19 points. They should be far more competent than this. And it doesn't speak well of Gary O'Neill and the job he did. But again, there's weaknesses in this team.
All right, the Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts and even Liverpool legends along the way, with the Great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts for free, head over to anfieldindex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at AnfieldIndexPro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.